toppers in Maharashtra. So when I would go and tell that I want to pursue arts as my stream, I met with, I wouldn't say resistance, but definitely a lot of amusing answers. I would be asked, is that really what you want to do with your life? Are you not taking this decision seriously? And what could you possibly do by taking arts, etc.? And a myriad other questions would face me. And this was something that my parents had prepared me for. Since my 8th standard, I used to attend IIT foundation classes, as I believe some of you have also done. And those classes prepared me for having access to the science opportunities if that is what I wanted to do. I was ready to understand that maybe I didn't know everything that I could do back at grade 6, grade 8, etc. But I could be ready. I could build my math foundations. I could understand critical thinking, the rational approach to a problem, etc. And just sort of prepare myself to eventually be in a position to opt for science if I wanted to. But then again, my larger leaning was towards the art stream. I knew that I was interested in languages, in cultures, in society, in social interaction, and maths. I was also interested, amongst other languages, in the language of nature. I had very strong orientation towards mathematics, and that sort of married my interest in social sciences and eventually brought me to economics. This was my first phase, and my larger takeaway from this first phase of life has been that no knowledge goes to waste. Attending those IIT foundation classes ensured that I had strong math foundations, which have helped me later on in life. Or attending Bharatnatyam, attending a lot of other activities made me ready to multitask and take on multiple opportunities later on in life. In terms of my post 10th standard life, I went to a college that was 60 kilometers away from my house. So I'd travel every day by the Mumbai local train network, solving math problems on my way to college. And all of, again, there my exposure had been in terms of how to not reduce myself to a sterile scholar and not be cocooned by this institute that was to a certain extent extremely elite. My parents as well had some apprehensions about sending me to this place because the understanding back then was this might be a college that is too posh, this might be something that uh, might make me feel a little outcast in terms of the social network. But then they ensured that they did their prep by asking a lot of people who had already attended this college about how the academics would be, or making me read the syllabus and see whether I am actually interested in pursuing this or am I just going there for the brand name of it. So my next 5 years were spent in this. Around this time, we were also encouraged to complete certain non-academic credits, one of which was a credit in social activity. This program was called the Social Involvement Program, and for which I would work for nearly 8 months. I was working with an NGO wherein I taught 30 students of diverse backgrounds. And it is there that I understood that there's a larger need to work in the field of education. I saw how these students would often just ask me to mark the answers in their textbook so that they could rote learn those particular paragraphs of the textbook and then eventually regurgitate during the exams, right? So no real learning was taking place. And I had identified this as a potential field that I would like to work in. In my 5th semester during college, I was placed in an edtech firm. It's a firm that organizes large-scale education programs, working with a lot of multilateral organizations such as the World Bank. And here, I believe that I could play a really important role in shaping the educational landscape of the country. Not in a massive way, but at least in terms of whatever I could contribute to. So that is where the next year of my life was spent. In my 5th semester, I was placed, and then I continued college till my 6th semester. Around May, I joined the firm, and this is sort of where a massive setback came in terms of not clearing some of the exams that I would have liked to cover in my first attempt. So I attempted these exams in June to July, August of 2022. And because I was also pursuing a lot of other activities, I think the whole concept of multitasking then eventually led me to a position wherein I wasn't focused enough on one particular target. And uh, that didn't turn out to productive outcomes clearly, and that led me to pursuing a year doing MA Part 1 at again my previous college. But then I took the setback in stride and understood that I needed to prepare myself for larger opportunities. This pushed me to look at institutes such as IIT that I hadn't considered the first time round. And then I spent the next whole year preparing for a lot of these exams and building my math foundations and understanding what were the chinks in my armor and what I could really work on. And yeah, that is when this year from around February I've been giving my exams. So GATE and JAM, both of those exams combined happen in the month of February. That is where the IIT gates open. And then I've been giving exams from Indian Statistical Institute, Delhi School of Economics, IGIDR, the college that I eventually hope to join, and all of these exams. And then yeah, this is where I am. I eventually made it to IIT Madras, where I was studying till day before yesterday. IIT Kanpur for MSc Economics, which I had to reject because I had to make these choices before I could pursue the next option. And yeah, the results for IGIDR came out very recently, and that is what I eventually decided to pursue. So I'm open to questions. I would be happy to answer whatever questions you might have. Too much to process? Yeah, all right. Right. Okay. Yes. Right. Hmm. Okay. Hmm. I would say I had sort of prepared for this possibility because right in my fifth semester, I had sat for placements, right? So I had a job offer in hand. And while I was giving those entrance tests as well, I was working full time, which sort of also not gave me enough time to prepare for the exams. And hence, again, like if you know that this is where you eventually want to be in, right? I hear a lot of people saying that, yes, at some point I want to give the UPSC exam, I want to become an IAS officer. But how about I just do an engineering degree meanwhile to prepare myself for all of these? Like, in case that doesn't work out, I have something to fall back on. I had that plan. That clearly didn't work out that great. If you want to be in any of these institutes, if you want to eventually do UPSC, etc., that needs to be plan A. It is important that you also have other alternatives, but you need to focus a lot of energy there, which something like a full-time job or an engineering degree might not let you do. Right. Hmm. Yeah, I did. Hmm. Hmm. Yes, it did. All right. When it didn't happen, I was actually at my work desk checking the exam websites on the side and looking at all of these results. So not making it and my name not appearing on those lists, yes, it did hit me pretty bad. But then at the point, I knew that I had to continue working this job. I had to go back home, process all of this. And I think pretty much that day itself, I knew that if my larger goal in life is to be I want to work in the policy implementation sector. So if that is where I want to be, I need to be at one of these institutes. So this cannot be something that defines the next 5, 6, 10 years of my life. I could let it define the next 1 year perhaps in terms of still being an aspirant rather than a participant of these colleges. But yeah, pretty much that same evening, I decided that I needed to not continue doing that job. Firstly, go do a master's from a place that wasn't as reputed or as established as the institutes that I wanted to do, but then something that would keep me in the same loop, keep me motivated to study. And then eventually, again, when next year, it was difficult at times to persevere through looking at other people and their LinkedIn profiles, understanding that they were going on and hopping on to other opportunities, other goals. But yeah, that was something that I had to really work through. And another thing that sort of helped me this last year was doing a lot of yoga, keeping myself physically engaged, and ensuring that while I was taking on some level of mental effort, my body was also prepared. A sane mind resides in a sane body, right? So, keeping myself prepared in terms of all possible aspects to eventually become a very involved student when I get to one of these institutes.
I mean, you said from morning to evening, you got practically come out of that failure in some sense.
Yeah, pretty much.
90% of our doing it. Not many people
Thank
do that.
Okay. The GATE exam has been happening for economics, but not a lot of places have been accepting GATE scores till this year. From 2023, IIT Madras and IIT Kanpur have entered the race, and they are now offering independent master's courses in economics. Earlier, it used to be an integrated program wherein after your JEE, you can opt for, instead of one of the core engineering fields, right? You can opt for economics and you do 4 years of BTech, but a bachelor's degree essentially in economics, and then another year of masters, and then that was their 5 year plan. But so one of the orientations that I attended after qualifying for IIT Kanpur, wherein they shared a lot of statistics in terms of what the placement trend has been and what sort of opportunities have been opening up for people with different majors. And they mentioned that one of their motivation to open an independent program in economics has been the fact that after computer science and electrical engineering, economics has been their most successful field in terms of lucrative packages and also in terms of number of people being placed, right? And also just the sheer diversity in terms of roles being offered to this program. So then again, that is what motivated these colleges to enter the race, and hence GATE has become important now. Earlier, it used to be mostly a lot of these traditional places like Indian Statistical Institute, Delhi School of Economics, etc. So for me, my focus wasn't GATE when I started out. I was preparing for IGIDR, DSC, ISI, etc. And when I got to know, say, around September of last year, that GATE is also something that I need to be focusing on, I ensured that at least in that brief span from December to February, a lot of my preparation was GATE focused, but before that it was largely oriented towards DSC, ISI, etc.
Is everybody clear on those criteria you said? Okay. Those are mostly for the economic.
Yeah, okay. So IGIDR is a college that has been established and now fully funded by the RBI and Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research. So this place has been focusing on the field of economics and development research since they've been established, right? Whereas for a technical institute like IIT, they have now entered the picture. Even though their school of humanities and social sciences are pretty old, at some of these places the schools are more than 40 years old. But they had been doing the integrated programs, as I mentioned earlier. So doing the new master's course is a whole new ball game for them as well. Now, Delhi School of Economics is an institute that has both our Nobel laureates in economics, Abhijit Banerjee and Amartya Sen, associated with that institute. Then Manmohan Singh was also associated with Delhi School of Economics. A lot of important people who are working in policy making or in any of these other core economist jobs were associated with ISI, DSC, IGIDR, all of these three places, right? So that is why I wanted to be in any of these three than in the IITs. Sorry, did I answer your question to a certain extent? All right. Hmm. Oh no, offline courses. Yes. Are the courses at IIT Madras and IIT Kanpur online or offline? These are offline courses. Yeah. Data science program? Yeah. 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 Yeah, they do. Right, right. No. This is a full-time program with all of the other aspects connected to it, such as the placement and everything else, as the MTech courses. Yeah. Two weeks. 2 weeks. IGIDR. DR. Delhi School of Economics. Yeah, I'm yet to hear from them. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Right. Hmm. 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 Yeah, yeah. Right. Hmm. 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 Yeah, no, no more. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hmm, hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Okay. Also, before I answer the question, if you had posed the same question to me if when I was in my 8th, ninth, and 10th standard, I don't know if I would have been able to say confidently that I would be able to go in local trains. I was in the same boat. I wasn't somebody who had been traveling such long distances, etc. So, but yeah, in terms of what I did and how I managed time, my UG classes would begin at 8 a.m., which meant that I had to leave my home before 6 a.m., 5:50, in order to be on time. The best thing to do in those days was to sleep. And the next stop, Ulhasnagar, is 4 minutes away. I was known across the train as the girl who sleeps before Ulhasnagar comes. So it built my capacity also to optimize in terms of all of these things.
You said sleep in train.
Yes, sleep in train. Keep my bag here, just put my head down, shut down. So yeah. So I would sleep in train in the mornings. In the evenings, again, I had ensured that I would have to keep my legs here, my bag would be on my lap, and then I would solve math problems so that I wasn't looking around. I didn't have to deal with any train fights with other people, and I would be focused. And yeah, that is what. And again, in my plus two, I had English, French, mathematics, economics, political science, and psychology. Yes, and again, this is something that I realized was so important very late. If you don't choose mathematics at your higher secondary level, you can't sit for ISI, IGIDR, or any of these other exams. So I think the idea is when you choose arts, you also can presume some level of dislike for mathematics. A lot of people, I've heard that being said that I don't like maths and hence I'm opting for yeah, arts. Right. Right. Together. Mm-hmm. Stream, yeah. Hence, hmm. Yes, because that was the last stop, fortunately, which is why I didn't sleep on my way back. Yeah, truly. Yeah, absolutely. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Right. Hmm. Right. Hmm. Yeah.
You all noticed that she kept his bag in the front.
Yes.
It is to protect the bag.